Welcome to our next episode of The Ethical Rebel in the Leadership Perspective. Now, we are talking about the ethical rebel, the odd man out, the outlier in the team who wants to do things differently. He doesn't want to do different things. Mind you, the objectives of the organization in his eyes remain the same. But as we noted before, the strategy and the tactics could be different. Now, coming to the attribute, we have discussed 8 attributes previously. The attribute number 9, very ironically and interestingly, he honors hierarchy. Oh, you'll say this is kind of an oxymoron. You have a person who's a rebel who is supposed to rebel against the hierarchical institutions and reporting systems. He wants to report to the boss's boss. So how can you say he respects hierarchy? Now, this is how I explain it. He will put forth his views as a member of the team. He will try and convince. He can be loud and argumentative. He can be a little bit abrasive and aggressive. He will try his best to put forth his views. But then the management, the middle management, the top management may, for whatever reasons, whenever a superior wisdom in the organization does decide that this is not really feasible for us to do the things as he's espousing, and clearly a decision is reiterated, then let me tell you, friends, the ethical rebel is as much bound and enthusiastic about that decision as any other member of the team or leader of the team, irrespective of what his views earlier were. So this is what I call honoring the hierarchy. This is what every member of the team should be doing, and this is what every team leader should actually be encouraging. You start the discussion, go around the table, as they say, leaders speak last, and ultimately reach a consensus decision. Then, irrespective of what our views were, we have to be wedded and welded to that decision and follow with the same enthusiasm as if it were our own personal proposal. And the point which I'm underscoring at this very point is that the ethical rebel has this attribute. He honors hierarchy and honors the final decision. Of course, there could be very rare instances where he's so strongly wedded to his ideas and he thinks that those ideas he can alone execute through his own startup. He may quit. That's a different thing. But once he stays in the organization, then he will work equally diligently in accordance with the plan of action which he was challenging. The point number 10 attribute, an ethical rebel has got his own following in the professional circles, over the social media, over the TikToks of the world. He speaks on YouTube and people respect his views. So he's got not only a fan following, but people who are in that professional domain area who appreciate his views, and he's able to kind of build up a public opinion behind what he says. So he's not really a solitary soldier or a commando like Arnold Schwarzenegger who says, I always work alone. He has a community of his own within and, more importantly, outside the organization that will help him to lend strength to his views. So an ethical rebel is not a solitary soldier. He has a fan following, and that's very important. He's not just a person lurking around in the shadows and trying to bomb a project of his team. He is having a team of followers of his own because he is a thought leader in one sense of the term. Now, in the conclusion of this episode, I'd like to devote a minute or so as to what should a team leader, an HR manager, do to such a person. Now, one thing is very clear, that an ethical rebel is an outlier. He does not fit into the statistical curve. You cannot say he's in the top 5 percentile, he's in the top 1 percentile. Those people still follow the Gaussian curve. If your correlation regression is going like this, Our friend, the ethical rebel, is sitting here. No known system of classification seems to apply to him. At the same time, you also know as a leader that you cannot always implement what he's saying for whatever reasons, organizational reasons, constraints, culture, whatever. And therefore, it is the duty of his immediate boss, who, in manifestation of his leadership qualities, because after all, what is leadership? Taking care of the people under your charge. You're not in charge. You're in charge, all right, but taking care of people under your charge, that is what a leader is about. So therefore, that manager, his immediate boss, immediate manager, in manifestation of his leadership, must really cultivate him, must soothe and smoothen his ruffled ego when his proposals do not get through. Also let him know other project divisions within the organization where perhaps his ideas would find greater receptivity. Maybe you are a marketing team, maybe in the product development, in the project management, in the R&D, whatever, in whatever department, even in a bureaucratic governmental organization. So it is very important for the immediate manager to take care of him, because otherwise he can get cynical, he can get demotivated, and it's a great loss to the organization. A person who has got so much of potential, his talent going waste. So great responsibility on the manager to identify the ethical rebel, try to make use of his energy and resources within the team and within the project, and most importantly, to deal him with empathy and not allow him to get cynical or be demotivated. So friends, to conclude, ethical rebel are often found in organizations. They are very easy to be identified. Normally they are seen as difficult people and people write them off. People are not even willing to speak to them. Managers say, kindly don't post him in my team. But if you are able to harness those rare qualities, then not only will the ethical rebel grow within or outside the organization, your own organizational objectives could be better achieved and more efficiently. So with this, we conclude this little series. And friends, I'll be looking forward to your comments. Share with your friends and subscribe. We'll be coming out with more useful and interesting stuff in future. Stay tuned and have a nice day ahead.